ashes, Phoenix talks manifest in a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the Nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under-detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see? Unlocking knowledge for you and me. The nest is rising strong and true, sharing wisdom, me and you. Clap, clap, clap for the truth we seek. Every answer, week by week.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, beautiful people. How are you? Gosh, this week's going to fly by fast. Boy, we have a amazing lineup today, tonight, and Friday. This blows my mind. So don't miss tonight. I have a special guest on, and we're going to be talking about old stories, new theories. That's going to be amazing. So don't miss that. Make sure you like and subscribe. I've got my mods in here. Hopefully you've met both of them. I've got Les and Christina in here, and announcing Amanda B. She will be one of my new mods. Congratulations, Amanda. And wow, 556 new documents that throw out the old theories. Because, I mean, think about what we were told with the official story. I'll give you a real quick video rundown. We'll talk about this. And this is going to be a hot topic. Guys, I know there's going to be a lot of people that say, stop talking about the victims. Stop talking about the survivors. We're not here to bash. We're here to talk about the documents. If you are not thinking what many are thinking or have been thinking, then maybe this stream isn't for you, because just a little FYI, there's a legal disclaimer right here that I put on my channel. We are not here to bash anyone, legally defame, slander, libel. This is here for entertainment purposes. This is here for commentary. And these are our own expressions. These are my own opinions, my own thoughts after reading 556 documents. Literally, not just skimming, not using my speed reading technique, but literally thinking about what they didn't tell us and possibly why. So we will be talking
FRY. I'd like to introduce Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier, Colonel Kedrick Wells of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, Dean of Students for the University of Idaho, Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. This incident has shaken our community, has continued to shake our community, and we continue to mourn for the victims. We will continue to vigorously pursue the investigation and pursue justice in this case. It is a complex and terrible crime, and it will take some time to resolve. Today, we want to clarify what we know and where we're at in this investigation. Our primary goal is public safety and to get a completion of this case and bring someone to justice. We continue to dedicate all the resources to this investigation. We've had 646 tips received, and all will be processed, vetted, investigated, and cleared. We've done over 90 interviews in this case so far, and the Moscow Police Department is utilizing the assistance from the Idaho State Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and Latah County Sheriff's Office. The personnel that has been assigned to this from the Moscow Police Department is 4 detectives, 24 officers, and 5 support staff. Federal Bureau of Investigators, we have 22 investigators in Moscow, 20 additional are assigned and located in the Treasure Valley, Salt Lake City, Utah, and West Virginia. We have 2 behavior analysis individuals from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. For the Idaho State Police, we have 20 investigators, a public information officer, ISP forensic services, and a crime scene team. We have 15 uniformed troopers to assist our community to help provide the additional resources for our patrols. Detectives are looking to develop any content that would help us in this event.
Now, he said that they were going to develop any content to help formulate a theory. And then he goes on, as we all well know, he brings some people on, talks about basically what they've come up with, that the community is safe, and they are going to find and apprehend who they believe did this horrible crime. So I'm not going to make you sit through 23 minutes and 29 seconds of this, but basically the headline was what? That they were all asleep and they were killed instantly. That's not what we find out. And unfortunately, you know, the lone killer, they said, was a random act. And what if I tell you, after the document drop of 556 pages, what if someone trusted someone else and that became a real spark for this tragedy? Now, we've talked about this before, talked about it in quite detail yesterday. But what if someone such as Dylan tells someone about what was going on in the house, about what she was experiencing, about maybe that had something to do with this?
Yeah. I get it basic everything. You fucking asshole! You fucking liar! You fucking manipulator!
Don't wear that outfit again.
I get it basic everything.
Now remember, that was on Maddie Mogan's last TikTok video. Yes, it was on her last TikTok video. And when you look at this context of this video, it raised red flags to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but Just think about that for a minute. We played that yesterday. And what was your overall feeling that was Maddie's last video? Were you confused? Were you inquisitive? How did it make you feel? So this isn't too far off, this theory of revenge and anger tied to Dylan's own confidences. If she told someone what was going on in the house, especially the past history with other tragedies that have happened with other people that were bullied, I mean, is that too far off of a theory based on all this new information? Think about this for 1 minute. Let's go over Dylan's statements in the ISP documents. I mean, there's
got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first. So I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30. Well, law enforcement goes through and looks for any evidence, takes videos and pictures of everything in there. And they'll start talking with people. So I don't really need to be there for that. They can't move the bodies. We have forensic pathologists and we contract with Spokane to do that.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw when you showed up?
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene with 4 murdered college students.
And that's all
Bone-chilling details have emerged about the death.
that's all the information that we got. And I mean, there's more out there if you dig. There's plenty of more information in regards to this case, which is just baffling in itself. But when you start looking at perhaps the statements of Dylan, and why are we focusing so much in Dylan's statements? Because she's shared the most. She has shared the most, and basically Bethany has gone silent. Could this be revenge or anger as a motive? I mean, the coroner did say it looked personal and angry. That we got. There's overkill in the wounds, especially Maddie and Kaylee, guys. Well, now we know Xana. Was there a rage or revenge that happened that night, early morning? Revenge could be Dylan's perceived mistreatment or fear. Against the house would be a symbol of a social world or somebody that she confided in, resented. You know, she was new to the house, new to the roommates, new to this lifestyle. And to be honest, if you look at every individual victim, some said they didn't do drugs, some said they did, some said they were, against it in a sense, in a way, if you paraphrase some of the statements, which could possibly be a point for revenge. But here's the deal. You don't brutally attack an individual and the whole theory that they had their organs removed. They don't go together. When you harvest organs, you don't want to damage them. The brutal killings that 2 of these girls experienced would cause damage to some major organs. So one thing that we can do is we can look at Dylan's timeline. We can look at the overlay of the timeline, 4 p.m. DoorDash, right? 4 a.m. DoorDash. The attack was said to happen between 4 and 4:25. That's when Dylan hears noises, a masked man, and she is miraculously spared. If Dylan knew someone that was sparing her intentionally, then she would feel this way. Words were overheard could actually mimic how confident Dylan felt. And the unknown male DNA adds a layer of doubt beyond Kohberger's sheath. So could there be somebody that Dylan did confide in? Is it even possible that they were worried about her safety and security in the house? And why was Kaylee there that weekend? Other than to see her friends, she bought the Range Rover. She wanted to show Maddie. Why was Kaylee there? We've heard rumors about Dylan going out to visit her and, encouraging her to be a +1, that there was some prank that was going to be held on the sorority girls, that the party was actually going to be there instead of going to the real party. I mean, we hear all this. And then we hear on the video, well, I told Adam everything. Oh, they're going to get you for this. Okay, well, there's so much that we've missed. because they told us they were all sleeping when they had actual defensive wounds, guys. So we got that. But let's look at who the primary suspect could possibly be. In my humble opinion, you're looking at somebody male between 18 and 28, socially on the margins with those individuals, close to Dylan, but outside of the roommate circle, somebody that didn't know them. Maybe somebody that was protective or obsessive. Somebody that was resentful towards popular or socially successful victims. I mean, look at Maddie. Maddie was just about ready, in marketing, established. Kaylee had already graduated, ready to move out, had a job, working part-time or full-time from home, and she was ready to just go out into the world and crush it. Along with Xana, successful from her upbringing to going to school, going to college, and marketing was her background. So think about the females in the house that were unalived. Ethan was just an innocent bystander, I believe, to some of this, to an extent. I mean, he had some arch nemesis tendencies towards some of the frats, I understand. And those are rumors and speculations. But with the new statements, Ethan was basically a permanent fixture in there, staying 6 days a week at the house. So, I mean, this was someone who was anger-fueled, opportunistic, but with a personal attachment to Dylan, in my humble opinion. That's what I believe. And I believed, and I still do believe, that they've covered it up. For what? Don't know, but there had to been someone with a personal attachment to Dylan that could possibly have done this. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think that someone else could have done this for Dylan? I mean, we went over the factually innocent Kohberger. No DNA, no motive, no weapon. I mean, we went through all of those yesterday, especially the unknown 2 female DNA per these new reports. Do you think that perhaps the people who suffered the most injuries, other than the victims, obviously, which could mean that they were focused on disappropriate rage? They weren't so mad at Maddie. They weren't so mad at Ethan. They were mad at Xana and Kaylee. They could indicate a personal connection, or they symbolized something to the killer, based on perhaps what they were told. That's third-party involvement. That's a personal connection. Well, it seems kind of thin because of the stalking claim or somebody they knew. One of the victims might point to the outside of, Kohberger's known profile. No evidence really supports it formally, because every single person, but they took a lot of DNA. They've tried to rule everybody out. Maybe it was somebody obsessed or resentful. Then Kohberger was framed, even though he pleaded guilty. Putting that to the side of that legal strategy, he has more of a chance proving he's factually innocent, like we talked about prior, than taking a plea deal is not a confession. Whose digital footprint would new evidence prove could do this? Is there new digital footprint? Are there more crime scene photos they don't want released because it could give us these clues? Maybe they don't want the individuals to look like they were mean girls. Maybe they don't want that cloud over their head saying, oh, it was a personal attack because they were bullied or they were mean girls. They don't want to believe that. That's possible. That's a theory. That's a speculation. Alleged, right? Was it because of personal issues, rejection? Was it against the people in the house or that house specifically? Was this a buildup of anger over time that somebody didn't know how to control? Was it a grudge? So if we say anger was a driving force to this, then why do we see things like this? There was a posting saying from Dylan's stepmom, Patricia, Patty. She used to be a former district attorney's prosecuting attorney in Ada County. A post was made that Dylan was recovering and this and that. And then this picture emerged shortly after that to say, hey, Dylan's out partying and having a great time, guys. Does anybody remember this one? So their theory went out the window that maybe she wasn't recovering. Maybe she was just going on with their life, having a good time like she had before. What a messy mess. So if this theory holds true, let's just say it wasn't direct revenge. Maybe it was indirect revenge. Maybe it was someone that Dylan confided in. It's possible that the killer wasn't avenging something for the victims directly, but rather acting out in rage as a larger group they represented, like college students, frat guys, the Greek life, women, sorority, rejection culture. Guys, it's out there. It's prevalent. I don't know if you guys ever seen that show Ghosts on TV. There's a frat guy in one of those ghosts, and I mean, he brings a lot to the table in regards to the kind of Greek life, if you're not familiar with the sorority and Greek life. When I went to college, I wasn't in a sorority. I wasn't in anything of that. So, I mean, it could be indirect revenge. Maybe she did confide in somebody. And if it is, maybe it's a misplaced target. If the killer originally intended only one person to be targeted, but others were present, anger may have escalated into killing everyone he encountered. Because the prosecuting attorney did say that they intended to enter, but not intend to kill all four. Think about that for a minute. The evidence of careful planning suggests it's not just blind rage. It may have been a long, simmering resentment finally unleashed. And whether you believe revenge or anger, it's very plausible. The overkill, victim's focus, the coroner early personal statement that all supports this in the beginning. And I've always said, let's go back to the beginning. Because, guys, the media is really playing hard to still convince people it's Kohberger. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they are definitely still running articles and ads and social media on news, still trying to let everybody know that, hey, by the way, Kohberger was acting really creepy, and I'll go over that. Somebody said, oh, well, how come you don't talk about Kohberger in these new documents? Oh, buddy, I will. I will, but you might not like it, but I will, because I understand autism. So, for those saying that, you know, before the murders, Dylan was known to like the Vampire Diaries, fantasy themes, eyebrows, creepy dreams. She's admitted that to the investigators. She felt uneasy that night. She described hearing voices like, it's okay, I'm going to help you, not in a nice way. But if Dylan had confided in fears, crushes, frustrations, maybe told some people in passing of the secret and what she was handling inside the house, and that this adjustment didn't come well, It's possible a friend, a boyfriend, a casual acquaintance, the person that could have been emotionally triggered, especially if they felt protective of Dylan or even rejected. Think about it. Extreme anger in the wounds, targeted feel, somebody's, maybe not the killer's grudge, but someone else's grudge. Someone acted on Dylan's feelings. Maybe she misspoke or gave mispreconceptions or exaggerations. And why did Dylan survive other than Bethany? If the killer knew there wasn't any, if the killer knew they weren't there to harm them, only her roommates. Only her roommates. And Dylan and Bethany seemed to be good friends. I mean, it's just an angle that I've thought about after reading these documents. And there's no public evidence that Dylan pointed out to law enforcement towards a confidant. So, I mean, I know this theory's weak, but the other theories don't fit if Kohberger's factually innocent and there's multiple unknown DNA of 3 males, 2 females. And if Kohberger's digital footprint falls apart, that's the cellular data, the car movements, the DNA. It's extensive, but if that doesn't line up, then why aren't they looking for another suspect? If you think about the trail that would need to intersect in a way that hasn't been revealed. Dylan did give a victim impact statement aligning with the official narrative. If she suspected someone she trusted, it didn't appear in her statement. So here's the 2-part scenario. If Dylan did confide in someone, they could have encouraged or aligned with Kohberger, even indirectly. Now, we've all said we don't know if he's truly 100% innocent or if he played a part. Is that even possible that he could be factually innocent, did not play a part, but maybe someone did this on behalf? Now, it's crazy when someone says her dad, alleged. But it's not so crazy when you read the reports. Kohberger's neighbor's interview in the Moscow Police Department. You've got to take everything and look at all the evidence laid out. Excuse me. You have to look at all the reports. There was one report from Kohberger's neighbor that said they saw him one night, late at night, outside of the actual apartments he lived in. And this guy that he was talking to was on a motorcycle. Now, a lot of people ride motorcycles, guys. I'm not saying this is just all speculation, but it is circumstantial. If someone points to someone's relative, then you have to see if the pieces fit. Was he seen around Kohberger's place? Who was the person on the motorcycle? Does Dylan's known dad ride a motorcycle, whether it be your bio dad or a stepdad? Does he ride a motorcycle? Well, yeah. In fact, he does. I checked that fact. Okay, so that's circumstantial. So we don't want to make the wrongful assumptions. But if Dylan did misread a situation, like someone was stalking when it wasn't so, that confidant could have acted in a revenge against people that they thought hurt her. Yes, if Dylan did confide it in someone, it could be a possibility of revenge, even with or without her knowledge. Think about it. If something bad happens to you and you tell someone and then they go and do something about it, that's with or without your knowledge. This could explain why she wasn't harmed. The crime scene so personal and angry, that was evident in the killings, guys. But without even hard evidence, it remains a shadow theory, especially with not knowing whose DNA is at the crime scene still. So if you think she was involved or not involved, directly or indirectly, with or without her knowledge, is this a possible theory? Yes or no? Yes or no? Drop your comments below. Do you think this was a possible theory? Because you have to understand, if you think it's a possible theory, you have to build a suspect profile. And that profile will be based off of a third-party revenge theory. They acted out of anger and revenge towards two specific people. The other people were just, I would say, possible present. So, close to her, but not inner circle. Someone she trusted enough to vent to, not so close that they were always around the other roommates. Could be a male, a friend, a casual boyfriend, a classmate, a party goer, a neighbor that had easy access to 1122. Possibly someone online she connected with who escalated her words into action. See, someone with protective personality, this is a person that has positioned themselves as a protector or listener, someone who validated Dylan's feelings, especially if she voiced about jealousy, tension, stalkers within her own roommates. And then obviously the psychological profile is she's triggered by her own fears. Dylan said she felt unsafe. Okay, then somebody believed it. Anger driven? Absolutely. It's not a calm experiment, guys. This was brutal. This fits someone motivated in perceived justice or loyal to Dylan. Was it an obsessive streak? Don't know. They might have already had some resentment towards popular students like Kaylee and Maddie. So what's the pathway? What's the revenge for perceived mistreatment? Was it the hazing? Was it the sorority? Was it the pranks that everybody talks about? What could have amplified this anger towards the roommates? Did she hold grudges? Was the person that did this misidentified? Did they not give up their DNA to prove their innocence? What do you think it could be? Was this symbolic revenge against a certain group? Somebody knew 100% a plan of attack because of the time frame. They knew that everybody was home. They knew that everybody was getting ready for bed. They knew that perhaps some would fight back. Kaylee reported seeing someone watching the house. Her dad had said that. Could have this been Dylan's stalker following her and watching and checking on her to make sure she was okay? It's possible. She opened her door 4 times. Did she know the individual? Did she admit to knowing him? Possible. I mean, let's just kind of take a pulse here on the chat. I've been watching. What would be the main motivation? What would be the main motivation? Somebody that she tells that internalizes her pain and anger and builds resentment. They surveil and watch the house, especially Kaylee noticed them. On the night of the murders, was there a fight? Was there a breakout of fighting? Was it fueled by anger, revenge? Did they attack then? Well, obviously from the crime scene photos, someone was attacked on the second floor west wall. We see that's evident. So they all weren't sleeping as we were told before. Did the unknown DNA in the house, are those the people who supported Dylan and maybe could be the people that were there to defend her? And it's just a theory, all speculation. But is this more possible the more information that we learn? Absolutely. So my confident answer in summary would be this is an 18-year-old to a 28-year-old connected to Dylan, emotionally reactive, protective, obsessive, socially on the margins, known but not known to the group, resentful towards the victim's lifestyle. Kaylee just got a brand new car. She was successful. They were all getting ready to move on while this person was staying behind. Was this a protective move to bullying, hazing, harassment? And does anger and loyalty become the motive? Since there is no motive, what best motive would fit? Think about it. What if someone in the inside circle did it? What was the real trigger? What do you all think? Is this even possible? That's what it's titled. Is this even possible? What do you think? We're going to talk about the old theories and the new theories tonight, especially with the drug hit. It was a mad revenge. It was a lover's quarrel. I mean, those were all things we were told in the beginning that didn't make sense. This one is the one, the unknown DNA of 2 females and 3 males. Was this a group effort? Could that have been the motive? Was there one key individual that these others helped? What was the argument? What was the reason? Y'all have been fabulous. So let's talk about this for a second. Do you think after what I shared in the last few days, remember, I've gone through these documents. I've summarized them very well. You're seeing a million videos flood social media about these documents. I could have done a million videos. I wanted to do long form content. That's why I chose here. I'm still on TikTok, guys. I'm still on the streets of TikTok. I've got a video that I'm going to go ahead and release in a few minutes. But this video is going to blow your socks off because they are still at it, going in the social media realms with their agenda and on big nationwide news to say how creepy Kohberger is. And that just drives me crazy because if you think that Kohberger is creepy, don't you think watching Vampire Diaries and making statements like this to the police is freaking more creepier? Think about that one. Remember in the beginning, I told you they are buying time. This is strategically planned to buy time. And with the recent GoFundMe, wow. Is it possible that factors into here? Like weeks ago, and what I said is that they stated, see, anytime you make a GoFundMe, you need to state what it's used for. And if you know that it's not used for that, GoFundMe will stop it quickly. But she put in there on behalf of her, they put in there that this was for therapy, relocation, and what else? What else did she say it was for? Let's just take a look at it together and then we'll see the recent one. Let's see. Let me remove that. Let me share this. Let's just take a live dig real quick and see what we can find. How about it? Sound good? Do we all take a poll? Yes? Okay, we're going. That was a quick decision. All right, hold on. All right, here it is. So Dylan's healing journey. Right, she put security. So let's just take a peek at this. She's at 106,888, and the last one was 13 hours ago. So people are catching on. It's slowing down. Hopefully, you know, people can use their best judgment. And did you by chance know that most of the top donors are former alumni of the University of Idaho? Yeah, I just did a little digging. I was just curious to see who is the most support from for the GoFundMe. So it says that she will be needing financial support for her new reality, forever lacking peace, security, safety, and her closest friends. So this will be helping her to build her life back and her future, and it will require relocation, intensive long-term therapy, trauma therapy, security, and privacy measures. So when you look at that, what stands out the most to you? Why would she need to relocate if she has people in her life that are stable? Why would she want to relocate? Intensive long-term therapy and extra security and measures? I mean, it just takes me back to this picture, folks. She was out partying, having a good time. Was she in denial? Does she need lawyer's fees? Does she need surgery? Does she need to go to a country that won't extradite her? Allegedly. She might have not been drinking. If she hadn't been drinking, that's even more scary that she was sober and all this happened. I mean, these are theories and speculation. I just think I have more empathy towards the actual victims in this case. The ones that can't speak for themselves or tell what happened. The ones that can't say, yeah, you know, I was murdered. It hurt, but it was quick. Some of these wounds don't sound like they were quick either. Not at all. She will miss them, but can't tell them why. That's a really good point in her victim statement. She even said that in her impact statement. We listened to that yesterday. So when you think about this, is it possible, is it even possible that this just took a deadly revenge twist with the new documents at hand? Absolutely. And in regards to the Chapins, I want to make something very clear. You know, I always share. Let me share this with you real quick so that you guys understand what's going on. Here is the court document that Karen Laramie has filed against the city of Moscow. Moscow's the defendant. Active attorneys, they're all legit. This case was filed on the 12th of August, which was last week. And you can see that a summons was issued, delivered, and the attorneys for the city got it. There was a response motion for a temporary restraining order awarded. And it's the same exact Megan Marshall that was at Kohberger's hearing. She sat over that beginning of it before Judge did. There was a temporary issue restraining order on the 15th that was approved. And even though the Chapins are not named against the city of Moscow. They have given statements, a declaration of their statements in support of what Karen's doing. And James Chapin, Jim, has also given a declaration, which means basically they have gone before the court. They wrote out on behalf of the attorney that they are in agreement with what Karen is doing. And if you look at the definition of a declaration, it's basically an affidavit. It's a testimony. And they're used obviously in motions like these in family court, civil cases, probate matters, and criminal proceedings. It's just an alternative. It's an alternative way versus going in standing in court and swearing in and giving a statement. It is a written statement. Made under the penalty of perjury, basically saying a legal document that I, so-and-so, am in agreement with not releasing more information in these documents in this case. So it's not like they've filed their own lawsuit or their own temporary restraining order against the city of Moscow. They're just in agreement with and have given statements that basically would go before the court, and they'll agree that we agree with what Karen's doing. We feel the same way. Now, if they did it separately, that would be the same as Karen is doing, but not the same here in this case. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of this now that these documents have come out and these families now realize maybe this individual is not what they say he is, and who did this. So let's just leave it right there for this stream, because I have so much more to share in some future streams in regards to, was this a possible deadly revenge? You guys have been amazing and awesome. And if you really like my content, I am not like every other creator. I'm giving you facts. I won't gatekeep. We've got a beautiful website up that many people have just been messaging me and telling me, man, this is amazing to have all this information in one location. If you do appreciate this, like I said, I'm not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. I am who I am. I share what I share. And I really believe in making sure that everybody has the same information. You know, this website is amazing. If you've not shown it to someone, share it today. It has all the documents that we are talking about, that other people are watching videos and asking, where do I get these documents? We don't gatekeep here. We want you to know where the information is. I've made an easy website as a repository. I will be talking about the autism court filings because I'm making a video about this topic too, and I will release it on TikTok. I will put it in my shorts here, but we will do long form content on this subject. As someone with a son that has autism, and I see a lot of similarities with my son that I see with Bryan Kohberger. And I only pray that my son would never be manipulated like this in a court of law to be framed because of his kind heart and his nature. This website is going to be powerful and very useful for everyone in the hive and in the nest, and that you communicate with. Make sure if you haven't helped support, find a way to maybe donate to help this website stay up. This is not money that's going to my pocket. This is going to the website. This is for us, especially for all you autism moms out there, all your special needs kids. We need this. These court systems, these jails, these juvenile detention centers, they are not built for teenagers and adults on the spectrum. or special needs. They just aren't. And this is something that someone needs to address, because no one is addressing this in the mainstream media. They are making everybody feel like this is scary. These people are not normal. You know what? They aren't normal. They are special, in my humble opinion. Don't make me cry. I don't want to cry today. But I will say this is something that we need to focus on as we the people. Amanda, thank you so much. Dinah, thank you. Absolutely. This is something that we will be talking about long form for a long time. It needs to be brought out, especially after a video I saw this morning. It is time. So you guys are all amazing. Thank you for joining, listening, sharing, questioning. I don't think we're ever going to stop questioning this case until justice is truly served. And with that said, big love. Phoenix out. Be well, you guys.